The first rule of interstellar command was simple. Emotion gets people killed. At least that's what the Galactic Council believed. For centuries, command positions across fleets, stations, and expeditions were reserved for species who could suppress fear, eliminate hesitation, and make decisions with cold, mathematical precision. No attachments, no second-guessing, no weakness, and certainly no humans. Humanity had been part of the galactic network for nearly 2 decades now. Long enough to prove they were capable. Long enough to earn respect. In some areas, engineering, medicine, adaptability, but command? Never, because humans felt too much. They hesitate. They form attachments. They break protocol for individuals. They risk missions for emotions. So when the cargo vessel Ardent Veil submitted its final command roster before departure, the Council almost rejected it instantly. Captain Elias Ward. Human. The objections came quickly. He has a record of insubordination. He deviates from mission parameters. He prioritizes crew safety over strategic efficiency. To the Council, that wasn't leadership. That was liability. But the Ardent Veil wasn't a warship. It wasn't even a high-priority vessel. Just a mid-range supply carrier assigned to transport mixed-species personnel and equipment to the outer colonies. Low risk, low importance. So they allowed it. Barely. Elias Ward boarded his ship with a quiet smile. Not proud. Not defiant. Just ready. His crew was a mix of species. A scaled Threxian navigator who trusted calculations more than instinct. A crystalline Luro engineer who spoke in probabilities. A silent Vex scout who had never once addressed him directly. And a dozen others. All of them watching him, because they had read the reports. Human. Emotional. Unpredictable. Elias noticed. Of course he did. Humans were good at noticing things others missed. Tone. Distance. Silence. But he didn't confront them. He didn't demand respect. He simply did his job. He greeted every crew member by name. He learned their habits, their preferences, their fears. To the Threxian, he adjusted navigation shifts to reduce fatigue. To the Luro, he requested engineering reports in structured logic formats. To the Vex scout, he simply sat beside him during quiet hours. No questions. No pressure. Slowly, the tension shifted, but not everyone approved. Captain Ward, the Threxian said one cycle. You are investing inefficient amounts of time in interpersonal engagement. Elias chuckled softly. Maybe, he said, but ships don't run on systems alone. They run on people. The Threxian didn't respond, but he remembered. Weeks passed. Routine. Stable. Predictable. Until it wasn't. The distress signal came from a mining colony on the edge of charted space. Weak, fragmented, desperate, unidentified attack. Life support failing. Children still inside. The bridge fell silent. Analysis. Elias asked. The Luro processed instantly. Probability of successful rescue. 12.4%. The Threxian added. Hostile forces still present. Unknown strength. High risk. Protocol was clear. Do not engage. Report to Council. Wait for military response. Standard procedure. Elias stared at the flickering signal. He listened again. Please anyone. Then he made his decision. Set course for the colony. Silence. That contradicts Council directive, the Threxian said immediately. I know. Probability of total crew loss increases to 67%. I know. The Luro turned. Then why proceed? Elias looked at them. Not as subordinates. As people. Because they're still alive. No calculation could counter that. The ship changed course. And everything changed with it. As they approached the colony, the damage became visible. Structures torn apart. Atmosphere leaking. Emergency lights flickering in the dark. And ships. Enemy ships. Still circling. Hostiles confirmed, the Threxian said. We must withdraw. Elias shook his head. No. We go in. The crew hesitated. Every instinct, every protocol, every training screamed against it. But something else was happening. Something subtle. They remembered. The way he learned their names. The way he listened. The way he cared. And for the first time, they trusted him. "Prepare for descent," the Vec scout said quietly. Even he had spoken. The ardent veil plunged into chaos. Enemy fire lit the void. Shields strained. Systems screamed. Impact in 3 seconds. "Hold together," Elias said calmly. They crashed into the colony's outer sector. "Rescue teams, move." Elias didn't stay behind. He never did. Inside the colony, the air was thin, cold, filled with smoke and fear. And then, they heard it. Crying. Children. Elias ran toward the sound without hesitation. The Vec followed. Then the Threxian. Then all of them. They found them in a collapsed habitation unit. Small. Terrified. Alive. "It's okay," Elias said, kneeling down. His voice soft. Steady. "Human. We're here." The children clung to him instantly. Not to the armored alien soldiers. Not to the advanced rescue drones. To him. Because they understood something the galaxy didn't. Emotion wasn't weakness. It was connection. "Multiple hostiles inbound," the Threxian shouted. Elias stood, shielding the children behind him. "Get them to the ship. And you, I'll buy you time." "That is illogical." Elias smiled. "Yeah, I get that a lot." He turned to face the enemy. Alone. But he wasn't alone for long. One by one, his crew stood beside him. The Vec, the Threxian, the Luro, all of them. "Command decision," the Threxian said. "Revised. We stand together." The battle was brutal, messy, chaotic, but something strange happened. The crew didn't fight like machines. They fought like humans. They protected each other. They adapted. They refused to leave anyone behind. And somehow, against every calculation, they won. The last transport lifted off just as the colony began to collapse. Back on the ship, silence filled the medbay. The children were safe. The crew was exhausted. Alive. The Threxian approached Elias slowly. "Your decision violated every known command principle." Elias nodded. "I know." The Threxian paused. "Probability said we would fail." "Yeah. But we didn't." Elias smiled faintly. "Nope." The Threxian looked at the children, sleeping peacefully, then back at him. "Your emotional decision saved them." Elias didn't respond. He didn't need to. Weeks later, the report reached the Galactic Council. They reviewed the data, the battle logs, the survival rates. None of it made sense. A human captain had ignored protocol, led a rescue against impossible odds,